Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you my official review for Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 7, titled The Broken Man. Now, of course, if you haven't seen this episode, please go check it out, because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the newest episode of HBO's original series, Game of Thrones. Now, obviously, it's been a while since I've reviewed a Game of Thrones episode. I did state in prior reviews that I would not be reviewing every episode of the season, but seeing as how I do feel bad about that, considering there was some pretty epic stuff that happened in between reviews, especially the episode The Door of this freaking season, which I feel like could possibly be the best episode of this season so far. I'm just saying, R.I.P. Hodor, you better hold that door. But it was just sad. It was just an epically biblical sad moment for a character that I never thought I would care so much for. And it was just very sad. But with that being said, we also got to see Benjen come back, and that was also very interesting. And obviously the combination of House Lannister being outside of House Lannister, and of course the king being in bed with the freaking High Sparrow. So there's a whole debacle with that over at King's Landing. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much time to come back and review some episodes. And there was some really interesting stuff, as I mentioned, but there is something that is really interesting that I like to mention that happens in this episode, which is the main focal point and pretty much my favorite part of this episode, the return of the Hound. Yes, the Hound has returned. Spoilers, it's freaking amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I did not see that coming. Usually with, shows like this, they don't really bring back characters, and if they do, they really wait a long freaking time to bring them back. And if there's one character that ended up leaving or allegedly dying off that I really felt bad for leaving the show, had to be the Hound, because even though he was never a perfect character or even a perfect person, he and Arya team up was the best portion of Game of Thrones for me. It was possibly the best pairing I've seen on Game of Thrones ever. The Hound and Arya together, it was just so beautiful to see this tiny little child and this gigantic monstrous beast just roam around the fields collecting chickens and freaking kicking ass. It was amazing. And the second he kind of got fucked over because of Brienne, it was just really sad. It was very sad to see that kind of happen, and I always felt bad for the Hound really having to just sit there and wait to die. But apparently he did not die. Apparently he was rescued by guest star Ian McShane's character, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty stoked that Ian McShane got to be featured on Game of Thrones. I'm a big fan of his. I've liked him ever since Deadwood, so it's pretty kudos for, HBO for bringing him back for another program. And we already knew this. We knew that he would come back. Well, not come back, but come towards the show. We saw him on the many cast members list for the season, so we knew it was going to happen sooner or later on this season. It was awesome. His character arc was cool. The Hound, the way he was trying to incorporate some sort of, new meaning in life for the Hound was really badass. It was just an awesome story arc that was my favorite focal point of the episode itself. Of course, the whole episode doesn't focus mostly on the Hound. It has also some subplots, of course, with the High Sparrow, with the King and the Queen. Then you have Arya trying to escape, and then you have freaking Jon Snow and freaking his continuous battle to create a bigger army to take on Ramsay. And then you have Jaime doing stuff because now he can't be with Cersei anymore. So it's pretty much fuck the Lannisters, fuck the Starks, fuck Arya, but at least, the High Sparrow is doing some cool shit, like taking over, and the Hound is back. That's pretty much the focus of this episode and what are the highlights of said episode. For me personally, the Hound, besides the Hound, there's not really anything else in this episode that really pops out to me as like, wow, that was amazing, that was phenomenal, that was very entertaining. Yes, there's fun elements. I really am scared for a lot of things to happen because I feel like the big thing to take away from this is that no one's really safe. Cersei thinks she's safe. She has a plan or an idea of how she plans on taking down the High Sparrow. I don't really see it happening into her favor. I just feel that. I know everyone's like, she'll probably get out of it scot-free and she'll kill everybody with that monstrosity that is, the mountain or zombie mountain, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But I just don't really see anything coming out of that. I mean, like, now that Tommen is just this idiotic child fucking king boy, or fuck boy as I like to call him, he's freaking doing whatever the High Sparrow says. So, is there any relevancy to that subplot that her own son doesn't care about her opinion anymore? I don't know where her subplot can go from here, especially now that Jaime is somewhere else. And Jaime, let's put out there, I really didn't care about his subplot in this episode. He has to go in, take this castle. Who cares about that castle, really? Like, fuck the Frey. Fuck them. They were a part of the Red Wedding, and I know it counts as a Lannister thing, so sure, Jaime has to support it, but fuck the Frey. That's all I can really say on that front. Fuck the Frey. Moving off of that, Arya. Arya, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's pretty self-explanatory. She's now done with the whole many-faced god situation. She wants to leave, and God knows what the heck else she wants to do beyond that. However, she's got some many-faced ninja daredevil shit to deal with that fucking crazy chick. And I'm not going to try and get to too much details with this, but how is it possible? I want to know, how is it possible that she's able to survive the wounds she got from her attack? It doesn't make that much sense to me. The knives in, like, Game of Thrones are gigantic whenever they're used, and she's a tiny little person. Maisie Williams is a tiny little person, even on camera. She's just super tiny. How is she capable of surviving these gigantic wounds she suffers from? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But moving off of that, the second most major focal point of the episode that I personally care more about, other than, you know, whatever the hell the Greyjoys are going to do, which is, of course, Sansa and Jon. Sansa and Jon have a plan to take down Ramsay. Sansa mostly. Jon Snow really has no fight in this, or like no bone in this fight, whatever you want to go with. I don't know where this story can go. I get the feeling that more than likely the Starks will win against the Boltons. I have that idea that that's possibly inevitable by the end of the season. I'm pretty sure they'll have, you know, hopefully the creators will have like an hour-long episode of just Ramsay being tortured, killed, and mutilated and whatever. I'm pretty sure that'll happen. If it doesn't, I don't know, I'm calling the president or whatever to stop this monstrosity of a fucking character from being alive. But regardless of any of that, I still feel that there will be serious repercussions for these characters. Sansa, from the beginning of the season, of the series, to now, has always been fucked over. Now she's in a position of power, or at least getting there, when it comes to her and the North storyline. But will it really get anywhere with her? Will it? Especially considering now she's getting to the support with Peter Baelish. And I love Peter Baelish, and I love the actor who portrays Peter Baelish. He's fucking awesome. He's very entertaining, and he's a sadistic, manipulative fuck. But at the same time, that's what he is. You can't trust him completely, and now you have Bran leaving and going to hang out with Jaime again in Jaime World. No, I don't want to see this happen. I just see that even if they do win, and Jon Snow wins or survives or becomes a Stark or continues to be a Snow back at the Wall or whatever, and Sansa continues to helm, you know, Winterfell, I still feel like the addition of Baelish and the fact that you have all these factors going into Sansa's mindset, it's just gonna fuck her at the end. Kind of similar to Cersei's storyline. They're kind of in the same boat where they're kind of getting there to the power that they used to have or need to have, but can they really maintain that momentum and keep it? I don't think so. I really don't know. And I'm scared for that, especially for Sansa, because we saw her get so fucked over last season. I don't want to see that happen again. And plus, Jon Snow just came back. We don't want to see him die again. That would just be redundant. But we'll see what happens. Overall, it was a good episode. It was an amazing episode. I still feel the Door was far superior. How even the last two episodes were pretty badass. You know, I mean, like, the battle was pretty badass with the fucking White Walkers coming in, taking down some motherfucking trees, and the freaking children. It was insane. It was pretty crazy. This episode, the Hound came back. And that's all I can really ask for. Everything else could have been irrelevant. At least the Hound came back. That's pretty much the best thing I can take away from this episode. But overall, my final verdict for this episode is ironically, I guess, a 7 out of 10. Solid. I mean, like, granted, on a good day, I guess my more realistic choice would be more of a 6.5, but mostly to round it out, it's a solid 7 out of 10 this episode. We're getting very close to the end of the season for Game of Thrones Season 6, and I'm pretty sure a lot of things will go down. The Greyjoys are going off to see Daenerys. You have Cersei in the mountain trying to get back to some form of normalcy with Tommen and the taking down the High Sparrow. What the hell is going down with that? I don't know. Sansa and Jon towards the Boltons, and whatever the hell Jaime Bran are going to do now that they're together again for some reason. And the Hound is back, and he's going to kill motherfuckers, and I'm glad. But beyond that, I really don't know where the season could end off at. Hopefully, at least, anything can happen, and I'm okay with that. But just give me the one episode of Ramsay Bolton being killed. I'm just saying, that will make this season. Probably won't happen. But with that being said and done, comment below. Let me know what you personally think about this episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are your personal thoughts on the Hound coming back? What are your personal thoughts on the subplots? And, of course, the wars that are about to come. But with that being said and done, shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Josh12.